Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. So in this video I decided to make a little storage shelf out of some old recycled bits of wood that I had lying around. So I started with a bit of the chipboard, you can see, and I just got the table saw outside. It was a windy day. As you can see, all the sawdust is blowing in the pond, and I just ripped these pieces down, and these are going to form the inner shelves of the unit. And now I'm just marking up how long I want these shelves to be, and I'm just going to cut them on my miter saw. So for the main body of the unit, I decided to use some old pine shelves that I found them thrown out a few years ago. I don't have a use for them anymore, so I decided to cut them down and make them into this storage shelf. So now I'm just cutting off the edges to make sure that it's all nice and square. And now I'm just going to mark them up, and I'm going to find where I want the top and the bottom to go, which are the two smaller sides, and I'm going to cut them at the same time to ensure an exact cut, keep everything nice and square. So the two short pieces are the top and bottom. And now I'm just using one of the pieces to draw a line, just so I can have a guide of where I need to drill the holes for the screws to connect this all together. So for this I'm using some self-tapping screws with a bugle shaped head, and that will help them to go in and avoid any cracking of the wood, because I'm not going to bother to countersink this wood. The bugle head should allow it to go in just like a drywall screw. And I'm just using some wood glue here to make sure everything is nice and strong, and in the end I decided to use 3 screws per side. So if you're new to the channel, thank you for clicking on the video, and I do DIY videos like this and other outdoorsy kind of videos, such as plant videos, and please consider subscribing. So as you can see now, I'm just putting it all together. So those screws worked just fine. No cracking of the wood. This is just to go in like a storage area. It's not a piece of like household furniture, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I didn't actually sand it down. It's sort of rustic, if you like. So that's the main structure complete. Now I'm just moving on to the inner shelves, the chipboard shelves, and I'm going to just put them up against the main unit, and then just mark out where I'm going to make the cuts, just to make sure they're nice and accurate. So the two inner shelves, I decided to space them roughly equally from each other to give me 3 kind of main sections for the storage unit. So now I'm just getting it all lined up. As you can see, I'm doing all my marking up with a pen. I couldn't find my pencil that day. I wouldn't recommend using a pen. It doesn't mark the wood very well. So I didn't use any glue for the main shelves, just in case I decide to move them later on at a later date. And you'll see later on, I'm going to face off the edge of those shelves just to make them look a bit neater with some plastic. So now I've screwed in the front end of the shelf. So now I'm just making sure that the shelves are nice and level, and then I'm securing them at the back. And that is the main structure complete now. Just need to put the back on. So for the back I had a bit of old hardboard, so I just put the shelf on top of it and drew around it. And as you can see at this point, it's getting really dark. So I'm just quickly going to use my cordless jigsaw to cut out the back. And then I'm going to continue the rest of the build indoors. Okay, so now I'm just going to add wood glue to the back of the unit. Spread it out nicely to get a nice contact with the backing, because I'd like the backing to also add a little bit of rigidity. So to attach it on now, I'm using some panel pins, and I'm just starting off one in each corner and then just spreading them around at sort of equal distances from each other. So when that glue goes off, that should all really lock together nice and strong. So the next thing to do was to paint it. So this paint that I've got here, it's from an old project. I just made it with some white emulsion and a few other colours. I think there's some purple in there, some blue, some black, just to make a sort of dark grey colour. And I added some PVA glue to that as well, which just helps to seal the wood a bit. Most of the unit was already kind of a grey colour, so the paint went on with one coat, no problem. There was imperfections in this wood. Like I say, I could have sanded it down, I could have filled various small holes, but I chose not to. I just wanted to keep it a quick and simple project because it is just for an outside kind of building. It's not going in the house. So now I'm just going around making sure that I get all the little bits painted up, just painting over the screws, masking all the imperfections and all the marks with that thick paint. So I was pleased how it turned out at this point. I thought it looked quite good. But as you can see, those main shelves in the middle, they're quite rough. So I got some plastic that I had left over from a project, and now I'm just marking it up to cut to size, and I'm going to sort of face off those ends, and that way you won't even notice the chipboard. And this plastic cut really easily. I think it was the edging of like a double glazed door. Just a form of plastic beading really. So to attach it, I used some glue and put it on quite generously, and then I decided that I would pre-drill. Just put these pieces into position, then pre-drill them. And as you can see, when these pieces are on, they'll sit nice and flush with the rest of the unit. So to attach them, I've got some small annular nails. These are actually left over from my workshop build, and they did the job just fine. And this trim also gave the shelves a little bit of a lip as well, just in case anything was going to fall off. There's a little lip there to hold everything on. So with that all done, it's time to put it on the wall. For me, I wanted to use this just to store certain fishing baits that I've got. So I didn't need a lot of storage. If you wanted to make a bigger one of these, you definitely could. Exactly the same principle. So what I decided to do to get it on the wall nice and quick, I just lined it up, held it to the wall, and then I drilled through the backing board straight into the wall to give me 2 mark points. And then I could just take the unit away and then actually drill the holes ready to put the wall plugs in. So I just used 2 screws, about 5 centimeters long, something like that, and 2 nice big washers, with the idea that the washer would clamp onto the backboard just to stop any movement. So this actually took me probably an hour or 2 to do total, apart from the waiting for the paint to dry. So it was really quick and simple. And with those washers, it turned out to be nice and secure. So now I've just got a brush, and I'm just going to brush out all the little bits of wood from when I drilled the holes. And now it's ready for my stuff to go on. So that is it all finished. And there you can see that lip that I was talking about. Now it's time to put the stuff on. So there you go. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please like and consider subscribing as well. If you've got any questions, let me know. And if you've got any tips for me, please let me know below. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.